Hey everyone, welcome to After Sunset Sundays. I'm a little early. I don't mind. I see some people in the chat. I see Joyce came in. I see Chloe and Kathy. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. It has been a mind-blowing day. Okay, so I told you we were going to work on my client's quilt and get the sashing on and borders and all of that. We're kind of there. I'll put it that way. We're kind of there. So let me actually bring you guys off of the machine for the moment. How are you guys doing today? Rayanne, welcome in. She says hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. So I'm going to do a little bit of trimming real quick. I do have some sashing cut and some border pieces cut. Sashing. Okay, I buried it. Glenda has joined the chat. Welcome in, Glenda. I do not have my keyboard screen up, so even though I've got my keyboard available, I can't, it ain't working today. It has been a day, you guys. It has been a day. So I did everything right by my measurements. And here's the snafu that I ran into. In case you guys caught me in any other chat this morning or earlier, I apologize. I'm showing you guys the back of my head. Okay, so I still have a lot of half blocks. These are the on point half blocks. And I still have a lot of full blocks here that still need their corner triangles added. Okay. So this is the pinwheel with the blue, with the gray, and then it's supposed to have the green triangle corners added to it, and we're going to add some more tonight if we get to it. So here's what I did. Here's where I screwed up. So this is why I always tell you guys, where did mine go? That's why I tell you guys to test your blocks, okay? The one thing I did not write down from my test was that these triangles need to be the same size as these triangles, and they're going to hang over, and I just need to leave it, okay? I decided to go ahead and cut them down, and I don't know. Actually, let me bring you guys back to the machine. I can show you guys there. Charlotte is here as well. She says dropping in for a moment to hit the like button and say hey to you and everyone. Absolutely. She says she's going to watch the replay. I'm good with that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, you guys, please hit that thumbs up. That helps YouTube know that you guys are happy to be here. And oh my gosh, you guys, I didn't even introduce myself. If you are new to my channel, I'm Tammy. I'm the Siberian Wind. I am not normally this scatterbrained. It has been a day. It is almost 8 p.m. my time, and I have been up working on this since 7 a.m. I've had to take breaks. My body is not liking me at the moment, so it is what it is, okay? All right, so here's what happens when you use the too small of triangles. I do not have enough seam allowance to be able to sew these triangles, so these are going to get ripped back out. I did not cut the whole stack, otherwise I would be up a creek right now, okay? I'm going to have to go spend my own money. Chloe, welcome back in. She says hello all. So I'm going to go spend my own money and replace the fabric that I can't use. So I will get these ripped tonight. I will look at what I've got left of the larger size triangles and see how many blocks I can do and calculate what I actually need. So I'm not going to the fabric store unprepared. Charlotte says it is 9 p.m. there and turning into a pumpkin. I understand. You are in Central Time Zone. I get it. So this is my problem, okay? So what I did is I got enough for us to do 5 rows, okay? So I've got a little bit of trimming to do, but I have enough to do 5 rows of blocks, and they're on point. let me show you guys the layout. If I've got it over here, I do. This is the layout of the larger of the two quilts. This is the full 156-inch size layout. So this is going to be huge. It's going to be very, very long. But we are going to be able to go, if you see this pencil mark down here, it is pointing to this row here. If I can draw a diagonal line, I can do this over. That's what I have available right now to put together, is that part over. I've got more triangles to finish out more of the blocks, so I can do more of them, but we won't get them all done tonight. But you guys will at least get to see some of this while I'm on live, and then I'll work on the rest of it again off camera, and then I'll go to the fabric store tomorrow. Chloe says, this stinks, you have to buy more fabric, but it happens. It does. And if I had stopped to consider for 5 minutes, I probably would still have to go buy more fabric because I don't think I had enough. I think I quilt mathed wrong somewhere. I know on the dark green fabric, I was 1/8 of a yard short. Literally, I needed 3 1/4 inches by width of fabric. The gray fabric I have plenty of. The light blue fabric I had plenty of. So those I don't have to go buy anymore. But I am going to have to trim these up a little bit. So these are with the larger triangles in place, so I have room to trim. All of these sides where it's cut, where this gray is cut, are already trimmed to the correct size. So all I have to do is put my ruler on and trim off the extra on the green. Okay? Now, I asked a question on my channel. Who all saw my question? I know Chloe did because she put in an answer. Who all saw the question on the community page where I was asking why was I doing this? Did you guys see the question? I want to know what we're looking at tonight. Who all saw my question? Because I'm going to give you guys some answers here in just a minute, so you guys know what I was doing and why. Well, you guys saw what I was doing. I was sewing this square. I was sewing the gray strips onto the squares, and the gray strip was on the bottom facing my feed dogs. Why do you think I would do that? What makes sense to you guys? Kathy says, just got on my computer, so I haven't seen it. My bad. No worries. No worries. So, Chloe had a very good suggestion. It was because it was sewing sashing on the block that was on point. And that's a really great idea. It really is. When you are sewing sashing on and your block is on point, there is a reason. Okay, there we go. Rayanne says, I saw the question but didn't know the answer. Okay. And this is why Chloe's answer is partially right, but not quite the reason. Glenda says, I saw it but had no idea. Okay. Let me finish trimming this corner off, and I will show you guys exactly what was going on and why I opted to sew with my strips on the bottom. So even though I'm sewing with a walking foot, here's what I had going on. So my pinwheels are already sewn, and I have straight of grain on the outside edges of my pinwheels. However, the way that these triangles were cut, in order to make the triangles to go around these setting triangles, these blue triangles, the way they were cut, this edge right here that connects to my pinwheel is on straight of grain, which means that both this side and this side of my blue triangles is on the bias. So all 4 sides of this blue square are on the bias. So what I opted to do, I did sew one upside down. I sewed one with the blue on bottom, and I immediately saw that I might encounter a problem. I didn't encounter a problem on that one, but I thought about it and realized I might. So I didn't want all these bias edges to stretch. Even if you are sewing with a walking foot, I'm sewing with dual feed, your bias can stretch. So you want to put the bias sides on top where they're closer to the presser foot, because the presser foot's not going to stretch them like the feed dogs will. So my gray pieces here were cut straight of grain. So I was putting straight of grain on this gray. I can't say the two words together. I'm so sorry. Grain and gray are so hard. So my gray was straight of grain, and I was sewing it to my bias edges of my blue triangles. So I put the gray on bottom because it won't stretch against the feed dogs. So one, it was going to give me a flat assembly. So you guys see how flat that is? That came out fantastic. The other reason, when you are sewing and you want to get these points, you don't want to bury your points. The best way to do that is to flip it over. And so as you are sewing this seam right here, the seam that my thumb is on, let me get my other hand up here. So this straight seam down here where my gray and my blue are joining, when I get to this point here, I can see exactly where my seams are, and I can see exactly where my point is going to be. So I know I'm not stitching into my point. I've lost maybe 5 points in this whole thing. Judy says, "Hi Tammy, late again?" As usual. You are fine, Judy. You are absolutely fine. I was going over why I put my gray strips on the bottom. If you saw that on the community tab of my YouTube page, I put the gray strips on bottom. My blue is cut where there's bias edges here, and my gray is cut straight of grain. So I wanted my straight of grain against my feed dogs. And then when you go over these points here, you want to be able to see your stitching lines. See how, my camera doesn't focus very well on this, but if you can see your stitching lines, that gives you the ability to see your points. Right, Chloe. She says, "Never so blind" is what Pat Sloan says. And it's absolutely accurate. When you are sewing blind, you are going to have issues one way or another that you may not be able to fix. So it's a good idea when you are sewing with a point that you want to salvage, that you sew with that point on the top, so you can see where your stitching is going to go. So it's great for when you are doing on point settings, but it was specific to this block that didn't necessarily have to do with it being on point. So that's the only reason I didn't say that was the right answer, is because this block could be set square and it would still be the same problem, because those blue triangles were cut with the bias edges out where they're going to face the outside, where they're going to face that gray. There was just no way to make sure that they weren't going to stretch. I could have put register tape underneath it or stabilizer or something like that, but I really didn't have the time or energy to go put into getting anything extra today. So I have quite literally been working on this, maybe taken an hour total off of my day. So when I got up at 6:30, I've been in here since 7 a.m. working on this quilt, trying to get it done, trying to get across the finish line. We are not going to win. Chloe says it was my best guess. No worries. Yep. And it's not a bad guess. It was a very, very good guess. The other reason might just be because I am aggravated with this wrist brace. That might be another reason to sew with it on top. That's going to be a good guess too tonight. I have been fighting this brace all day, guys. I have taken it off multiple times. I have adjusted it multiple times. I have given my arm as much breathing time as I can multiple times. This brace is just giving me all kinds of grief today. It's just rubbing and chafing and itching. Not really itching, but just rubbing and chafing. And if it's tight enough that it's not rubbing and chafing, then it's compressing too much and I'm getting little, the little sore spots. Just like where, if you wear your shoes too long and your feet are swollen, where your shoes like hurt and you've got indentations and all, I'm getting that all over my wrist and arm when I get it tight enough that it's not chafing. But then if it's not tight enough, it's chafing. And so like I just can't win. I cannot win with this brace today. So I did get enough done to do the first 5 rows. So that's what I'm going to get these trimmed up for, so that we can get those first 5 rows assembled. Are you guys excited to see how this is going to come together? Oh, you guys haven't seen the fabrics. You have not seen the fabrics. I'm going to have to show you the fabrics. I'm going to have to put them out so you guys can see them. All right, let's see. Where are you going to see them best? Okay, let's go up here. Look at that blue. That's as good as it's going to get because they're going to fall off otherwise. They're only 3.5-inch squares. That is my cornerstones. Chloe says, it will be beautiful. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping so. These blocks really are stunning, guys. They really are coming out just so beautiful, so gorgeous. And it was a lot more trimming today than I thought it was going to be. And I think that was part of my problem, is I didn't estimate my cutting time and the fact that this brace slows me down considerably when it comes to cutting. I think that was my big mistake, is that, last night I went to bed about 11 o'clock last night, and I was having to throw in the towel last night because I was just so exhausted. And I thought, well, if I can push through and get, this one step done, then, I'm starting with pressing and then cutting today. And I really should have just gone ahead and done that instead of putting it off till today. That's my fault for doing that. All right, so here's one of the blocks. So the green doesn't really pop right now on the outside, but it will once it's assembled. So it's going to be up. The blocks are going to be have these as cornerstones. So this dark blue will be the cornerstones. Katie is here from Greenland Quilter. Hi, Katie. Welcome in. Oh, Katie and Kathy, you guys both have channels. Please do !selfie. Get your channel link dropped in there. So everybody can check you guys out. If you don't already know Katie or Kathy from Greenland Quilter or My Hobby Home, please go take a second to check them out later. They both have fantastic channels and put out a lot of great content, guys. Absolutely worth, spending a little bit of time over at each of their channels, going to hang out with them. So it's all kinds of fun. There's Kathy's. Awesome. Beating everybody to the punch. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, I caught myself watching a whole bunch of videos today, and I was watching, Kathy, I think it was yours that I was watching, and somebody came live and it popped up, and I don't remember who, but somebody interrupted me watching your replay or watching your video. So I'm going to have to go back and finish watching because I got caught up. Now, I don't know if you saw my video or if you saw yesterday morning. I think it was yesterday morning You guys can help me out. When was I talking about Kathy last? Was that yesterday morning? So you guys, Kathy is so sweet and just absolutely fabulous content creator. And she was over on her channel, and I was playing one of her videos, and this was a couple of nights ago, maybe it was Friday night, I think it was Friday after I'd been online with Mona. I caught Mona and Deb over on Mona Did What channel, and I was over there for a little bit. And who joined me? So Blessed by Jess joined me. Probably because I didn't make it yesterday, so it's probably Friday. But yeah, I was watching Kathy's video, and my husband knows that I watch Kathy's videos because he lived in Louisiana. I've never lived in Louisiana, but I've lived on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So I'm used to that accent that she's got. And I love listening to your accent, Kathy. I gotta say, I love hearing that accent. And you guys can hear the southern twang coming out in me right now. Both because I'm talking about Kathy and thinking about her accent, and because I'm tired. So you guys get a double whammy. My accent is coming out. Alright, I do not sound like I'm from Wyoming right now. And I apologize to anybody who is offended by the fact that I am not from Wyoming. I love it here, and I will not be moving back. But I do not have the accent. I'm tired enough that the accent is coming. My southern accent is coming through. Laura is here. Welcome in, Laura. All right, so I was listening to Kathy's video, and you guys, she started talking about me. She really did. She started talking about me, and she was saying something. I was like, she's about to talk about me, isn't she? And I was just thinking that in my head. You guys, I went and got my husband, and I told him to come over here, and I wanted him to see what I was watching. Like, I wanted to show him what I was watching. And he is rolling his eyes, came in here, and I rewound the video just enough, and I started playing it, and he said, "She's talking about you." I said, "Yes, she is." And there Kathy said my name and said Siberian Wind, and he just smiling from ear to ear, guys. He thought it was the coolest thing that here I am getting mentioned on somebody else's channel. And I didn't even know I was getting talked about. Joyce says, "That's okay, Tammy. Us from Wyoming don't mind me." Oh, Kathy. She says, "Lol, well, you were going to be surprised because I added you in my updates again. Let everyone know about the salon." That's all right. That's all right. I'll show him again. I'll get that smile across his face again. All right. So what I'm going to do, because I want some sewing time. I have been sewing off and on all day, but I want some more sewing time. Let me get back to where I need to go and turn this light off so you guys can see what I'm doing. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start. Okay. And just in case you guys see the rest of this sheet, I printed out 4 different design patterns for my client to pick from. And this is the one he picked. Okay. All right. So because this is set on point, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get these 2 half blocks sewn together with this sashing strip between it. And I'll get it put up on the wall, and then we're going to see if I've got enough blocks already to do these 2 blocks and the half blocks at the end. And we'll go ahead and get that row up, and we'll get this sashing row between the 2 of them. We'll get that assembled and see what we're looking at. See what we're looking at. So I know I got some more to trim because I only have the 2 half square blocks trimmed. But I want to see some of this come together. I need a little bit of gratification coming up. Alright, so this does actually have a quarter block. Thank you, Katie. I appreciate it. She says, cool pattern. I appreciate it. I just went to Electric Quilt. I've got the Electric Quilt 8 software, EQ8. And I just started plugging stuff in and playing with it until I was kind of happy with what I was seeing. And I just gave him options out of those as to what he could choose. And, this is what he chose out of it. So it's all on him for choosing it. But I gave him the options of what he could choose. And my iron is trying to go to sleep. Oh my gosh, what are you guys working on this weekend? Have you had a good weekend? Are you ready for Monday? I know I'm not. I got so much going on tomorrow. I've got to start Andrea's pattern tomorrow, I promised. So I don't get to get out of that just because I'm not done with this. So I'm working on this until it is done, if I can. But I got to start working on Andrea's because that is a promise I gave. So I got to get to cutting that tomorrow. And then I got errands to run tomorrow too. So that's going to take up some of my day. My husband and I went to Social Security on Friday. And I don't know if anybody here had to deal with them on Friday. But there was some kind of IT issue going on. And they couldn't access anybody's account. They wouldn't even let us in the door. Kathy says, never ready for Monday, but I have been sewing and recording lots. That's good. That's good. Chloe says, I am not ready for this week. It will be busy. Oh, goodness. Busy weeks fly by. And I still have, you guys, I have the class starting on Thursday. And I've got a class that I'm teaching on Wednesday night. The young lady working on her pajama pants did not finish them the other night. So I've got to go back over there and we got to go work on it some more and get it finished. This should be the last class. I can't imagine it'll go more than another 2 hours. But golly, and I got to get you guys information before Tuesday night in case you want to join in the freebie quilt class. So you guys will have your information ready for it. Let's see. Laura says, I went to the open house for the Innova long arm yesterday. Oh, exciting. She says, all I can say is, wow, I think I might just love it. It's not in my budget for this year. I'm going to have to save a bit more. Oh, that's fine. I have to save tons more. Nancy's joining the chat. She says, hi, y'all. Welcome in, Nancy. Katie says, Glenda, he says his arm still hurts, but the pain from the stab wound has eased up a bit. It'll be about 2 weeks before they take the stitches out. Oh, goodness. A freak accident last night with a knife. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I will help you guys out with that. I'll help you a little bit with that one. Okay. So, a friend of mine, and it had already happened when I met him, okay? It had already happened, so I had nothing to do with this. I did not cause it. It's not my fault. You cannot blame me. Pam is here. Welcome in, Pam. Glad to see you. So a friend of mine, he was slicing something. I don't know what he was slicing. I don't remember what he said he was slicing. But the knife slipped and it went in his chest. Guys, it was 2 inches from his heart. He drove himself to the ER. And they looked at him and they said, how did you do that? He said it slipped. And they said, you weren't trying to do something you weren't supposed to do. And he's like, no, I wasn't trying to do that. But yeah, he had that kind of accident with it. Let's see. Chloe says, I worked on table runners in last year's Fat Quarter Shop Halloween mystery called Boo Crew and finished her Wild West PMQ Clue 2. I have not even started my Clue 8 for Tree of Life. Let's see. Thomas told me he's been so calm about what happened. Right? right? They're always a lot calmer about it than we think they should be. At least it's already happened. At least the danger part of it's over. You know, that's the good thing. You know, the emergency part of it is over. So now we just get to work on the getting those stitches out in time, or when they're due to come out, and not getting infected before then. Oh, that is weird. That is weird. It sounds like it was a weird accident, Katie, but I'm glad he's okay. All right. So it doesn't show up really well on camera, but guys, that is one corner. So it's going to go like this. So this odd square out here will get trimmed down. The hospital saw to them getting home last night too. Oh, that's really good. That's really good. All right, I'm going to put this where you guys can see it, even though that is not as far up as my design wall goes. It goes up a good couple feet beyond that, but that way you guys can see it. I'll put a pin in it just in case, because some of it's hanging off the design wall. Some of that little square. Katie says that block is going to be very cool, Tammy. I hope so. I hope so. I think he chose a really good block, and it really didn't feel like it was going to be as difficult as it has been. But my brain has just made things more difficult. That's all that there is to it. It's my brain's fault. Alright, so I need 2 blocks for this row. And so I need 2 of the half blocks, which I've got them here. I just got to trim them up real quick. Let's grab them. There's one. And there is, well, almost. Can't get my fingers on it with this brace, guys. Alright, so now I told you I did that snafu with the cutting. So these triangles here are the same size as these originally were. And then these are the half size that I cut everything down to. So I can still use them. So I'm not going to have to waste them. But it just means that I have more than I needed. And I don't have enough of these. I know I don't. I don't know how many I have. I don't know how many I'm going to need to cut. But I know I don't have enough. Let's see. Katie says, sure was. I've never heard of hospitals getting patients home before. He's outside of Atlanta, right? Or he's in the Atlanta area. Is that, am I correct in saying that? He's around Atlanta. Crystal, she says, hi there. First time here. Welcome in, Crystal. Glad to have you. It is the first time I've seen your name in my chat, so welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad you made it in. I know I make my lives where you have to be a subscriber in order to chat. Yes, Katie, thank you. She says, y'all hit that thumbs up like button. I can't see how many likes I've gotten. Okay, yeah, so he is just outside of Atlanta. Yeah, in the Atlanta metro area, they're going to assume that you might be one of the people that takes public transportation. When you are dealing with a city that has public transportation like that, you are more likely to find it than you would if you were in a city like Birmingham, where they don't have a good public transit system, or a lot of the areas where you may have lived in the past that didn't have a good bus system. Atlanta has a fairly decent system, but they also realize that a lot of people do walk or take the bus. So, you know, maybe that's part of the hospital's protocol. I guess that kind of helps, maybe. Crystal says, thank you for having me. Absolutely. Absolutely. We have a great community here. We absolutely do. Love all my subscribers that are here. They are sweethearts. Let's see. Nancy says, I know the knife and cutting meat finger lost the battle. They used gunpowder to get it to stop bleeding. They lit it up. It went poof, and then they sewed me up. Oh my gosh. You have had an interesting experience, Nancy. Katie says he was picked up by an ambulance because he couldn't get the bleeding under control. So shocked me they hired a lift to get him home. That is kind of shocking, but it's something that the hospital can write off, so I'm not too surprised in that respect. Pam says, well, Nancy, that would freak me out. Right? Right? That would freak me out too. That would absolutely freak me out. So, Crystal, one of the things that we do tend to find here is, because I am in Wyoming and I used to live in Alabama, we do have a widely varied community here of people from all over the country and the world. Katie, Greenland Quilter, is living in Greenland, born here in the U.S. If you want to tell us where you are hailing from, it will be something that I keep in the back of my head. I know we've got someone from Arizona here tonight. I know we've got Rhode Island represented as well as Louisiana. And I'm trying to think I'm talking about Texas and Indiana. I've also got Southern Alabama in the chat and another Wyoming in here. So yeah, I kind of keep track of that. Pam says, this is the best community. Thank you, Pam. I appreciate it. One of the things that I do, Crystal, being new to the community, you are from northern Montana, Minnesota. Okay, Minnesota. MN is Minnesota. Woohoo! Woohoo! We had lots of Americans in our town today. It was nice talking to fellow Americans. Oh, absolutely, right? So one of the things that I do, Chloe, is the first Tuesday of the month is Sew and Tell. Sew and Tell is a big deal because not only are you entering to win, because I am giving out a quilt after our October Sew and Tell. So on October 1st is our next Sew and Tell live. If you enter for that, then you will be entered to win on October 8th. October 8th is our giveaway day. I am giving away a lap quilt. I'm giving away something every 6 months in celebration of Sew and Tell. What Sew and Tell is you are submitting something to share with the community. Whether that is a block that you've made, whether it is a project that you finally got some sewing time in on, whether that is a basket you've made, a handbag, a makeup bag, a bead, any kind of crafty item that you have had a hand in making, that's what we do for Sew and Tell. It doesn't have to be anything completed either. We've had uncompleted, quilts. We've just had blocks submitted. So all of that counts towards the Sew and Tell giveaway. Everybody gets entries. Let's see, Nancy says, it happened so fast I didn't have time to freak out because every time my heartbeat, blood would shoot out about a foot. Oh my gosh. Oh. Okay, so you are what the Hollywood movies are basing their theories off of. Okay, gotcha. Oh my gosh, that's scary, Nancy. So Sew and Tell is about inspiring the community, and that's what I want to foster. So we only do Sew and Tell once a month. That way everybody has a chance to attend, and nobody feels left out because it's, been a hectic day or something like that, because you were able to plan a little bit better, only having to try to make once a month. Judy says, Katie, when I worked in the ER, a lot of us nurses will pay a lift to get a patient home if they can't find someone to come to get them, right? That makes sense. You want those patients out of your ER. It's like the Q word. You don't want them there. But yeah, so that's one thing that I do here in the community. Another thing that I do here is we do... once every 2 months, we do a freebie project. So this month is our freebie project month. And so here in September, I will be issuing out a pattern for a quilt. The 2 previous ones that I've done, we have done an Irish chain with a twist. And we have also done the cut and chiseled quilt. That one's very fat quarter friendly. It actually uses up all the pieces of the fat quarter, so you don't have anything left over. So you don't have any waste. and you're not creating new scraps for your bin, it is a complete project. So things like that I like to issue out for free, and they are, even though it's my intellectual property, I want you to be able to use that and share that and be able to enrich your sewing experience with it. And you're not required to participate in anything. Just come hang out. You know, be kind to everyone else, and we'll all be kind to you. We'll all love on you as well. So you are very, very welcome to be here. Let's see. Blaze enjoyed the ambulance. Oh, I bet Blaze did enjoy the ambulance. You should have heard him in the room at hospital. He kept asking, "What's this for? What's that for?" Oh, yeah, right? Little ones can be so curious at the hospital. My son was one of those and I don't know where he gets this because he doesn't get it from me. Your closest fabric store is closing at the end of the month. Oh, no. Well, you can always shop online. I know that's not as much fun. Here in Casper, when I moved here, we had 2 quilting stores. One reopened since I've been here. I've only been here just over a year, but one of the ones that opened and one of the other ones also closed. So we are down to one local quilt shop. The only other store I have here that sells fabric worth buying most of the time is Hobby Lobby. So I've got one local quilt shop and Hobby Lobby, and that is it. Katie says, sad Crystal, do you have other places to shop at? Right. Still cutting background for Cut and Chiseled, collecting fabrics for the angled quilt. I tried to shop my stash too bad. Oh, yeah. Angled quilt. That is one of mine, isn't it? Yes, here's the angle. Oh, that's another free project. I completely forgot. Here's the angle is also a free project as well here on my channel. Yeah, we are all with you, Crystal. We know what it is like to lose our local quilt shop or even just our local place to buy fabric. It is heartbreaking. That is awful. That is awful news. Awful news. We don't want you to lose your fabric store. We need to petition to keep them open. Laura says, Crystal, that's too bad. I always feel bad when small shops have to close, right? One of the stores that is on the Wyoming State Quilt Shop Hop announced that they were closing in November. You guys, they've already cleaned up their back room, and the back room supplies like the ironing boards and irons and all of that is already in the rest of the store. And when they took pictures of it, there's hardly any fabric left. Everything's pretty much already gone. Let's see. Crystal says, I guess I'll have to go find a new place, but they are 3 or more hours away. This one is half an hour away. Yeah. If it is any consolation, if I cannot find it here in town, if I have to go to Joann's, that is 2.5 hours away to the closest one. There is another one in the state. I don't remember the travel time to that one, but I think it is a little bit further than the 2.5 hours. Joy says, I'm not thrilled with the quilt shops here. I understand. You're in Worland. Yeah, I'll say this. Worland seems like a nice place, but I was not impressed with the quilt shop. I'll say that. I liked Cody a lot better than I liked Worland on the shop hop. Quilt Squirrel is here. She says hello from Ohio, or he says hello from Ohio. New here. Heard about your channel from Kathy at My Hobby Home. Well, thank you, Quilt Squirrel. Quilt Squirrel, can I get a name to call you, or would you like me to just call you Quilt Squirrel if I can keep pronouncing it? Judy says, I'm not sure if all the hospitals do that. I know which one Katie's son went to. I worked there before I retired. Yeah. A lot of the ones in Atlanta, I would imagine, would be willing to do that. Katie says that they were really nice to him. You're Jody. Okay, thank you, Jody. I appreciate that. And we are learning where everyone is from. We have Minnesota, northern Minnesota. I'm going to start saying Minnesota. I'm sorry, Crystal. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. Yeah, northern Minnesota. So we've got northern Minnesota here. We've got Louisiana. We've got southern Alabama. We've got Wyoming, Rhode Island, Greenland, Louisiana. I've already said Louisiana a couple times. I think we've got Indiana here in the chat as well as Arizona. Pam is in Missouri. Where in Missouri, if you don't mind me asking, Pam? I've got family in Fenton, just outside of St. Louis, and I've got family in, what is the town? It's north of Kansas City, and it's near St. Joseph. That's close. That's as close as I know. I know it's like near St. Joseph's, or St. Joseph, Missouri. So that's where this next baby quilt is going to go. Western Kentucky, says Nancy. Yay! Jefferson City. Okay. I have heard of Jefferson City. I'm going to have to do like a map, you guys, and like map everybody out. Laura says, I noticed that the shop that I was at on Saturday raised their prices. I was looking for primitive gatherings line. It is from Moda and now $14 a yard. Oh, she says last time I was there Moda was $12. Yeah, right. Southern Ohio, says Jody. Okay, I have been to Southern Ohio. The only places that I think we've got in the chat that I've not been to is I have not been to Greenland, and I have not been to Rhode Island. I haven't been north of upstate New York. So state capital, almost middle. Okay, that makes sense. That's why it makes sense. Okay. I'm having a moment. I should know my state capitals. I really should. I'm making sure that I'm lining this up the correct direction, and I am. Oh, you're good. I understand what you meant. I can't type today either. Today is not a typing day. All right, so this is row 2. When I start getting to where I can have 5 per row, I think 1, 2, yeah. When I get to where I have 5 per row, that is as tall as the quilt is going to get, because this is going to be a railing quilt. Floridians, yes. People from Florida. There we go. People from Florida. I can say people from Florida today. I'm not sure if I can keep pronouncing the other word. It has been that day. All right. Let me press this real quick. And this is that next row. It just shines when you've got the light behind it. And it shows off how much my shirt is wrinkled and sticking to me. That is a lot for Moda, right? I agree. I believe my quilt shop is $12.90. I don't know what mine is. I will look, because I will be there tomorrow. I will be there. I do not have a choice. I will be there. I will have to go pay them a visit. My favorite lady, the one that found the fabric for me, will not be there. She is Tuesdays and Thursdays. So she will not be there, so I won't be able to show her my progress. But at least I can kind of like hide the fact that I made a mistake to her. What you making tonight, and what's your name too, please? Yes, I am Tammy. I'm the Siberian Wind. Barbara Iverson, hello, also from Minnesota, but I am from southeast Minnesota. Welcome in, Barbara. First time in my chat. Welcome. Glad you are here, sweetheart. All right, this is the quilt that I am making. This is about as good as my image gets for it. This is my design. It's something that I picked out on EQ, on Electric Quilt. If you guys are not familiar with EQ, that's what it is, Electric Quilt software. And so my client picked that quilt instead of any of the others that I gave him the options for. What it is this is going to go on the railing in his home. He has a townhome, and the upstairs has a railing as the division. So when you are upstairs, you can see all the way down to the living room sofa, which is convenient. and very gorgeous. However, the other problem is if you are sitting on his sofa in the living room, you can see someone getting out of bed in the master bedroom suite. So we are putting a quilt up there so that it hides the upstairs from the downstairs a little bit. He originally has been putting he has a dresser that he has put in place, a piece of furniture put in place to give him some shielding. And then he has also put a, sew and accurate sew and flip tonight. Moving on to straight seams for now. I don't blame you, Chloe. Sew and flip is not my thing tonight either. Obviously, I'm struggling. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. My sashing is 1, 2, 2, and okay, all right. I got the right amount of sashing pieces. Got 2 of those and 3 of these. And I am just going to be trimming off the extra. We are not getting down to the nitty-gritty and trying to figure it all out. We're not doing all of that. Oh, you are fine, Crystal. She says hi to those I missed tonight. Oh, you're welcome. You're absolutely fine. Joyce says that it's going to be so beautiful when finished, Tammy. Thank you. Thank you. I cannot take any credit for the colors. So here's what I did. My client is a guy. Okay. Let's preface it by saying he is a guy. And I don't say that to be mean. Because there are a lot of guy quilters out there. You know, Sean and Ian and Rob and Russ and Luane. There's a lot of guy quilters out there, okay? So please do not take this the wrong way. But my client is a guy. He is a guy in the sense that he doesn't see colors very clearly. And to him, blue is blue is blue is blue. And green is green is green is green. So if I had picked any green on the shelf, that would have been okay with him. Like, it would not have mattered to him. Barbara says that she bound 2 lap quilts today and planned her next project. Need to do the math for the new project. Bless your soul. You can come do some math for me tonight. You absolutely can. I do not mind. I will let you do some math for me tonight. Yes, you guys, if you do have a channel, you can always do exclamation selfie over here on my channel. I do not mind. Just do the self-promotion thing that way. Don't do it like, every 5 seconds, but yeah, absolutely. Drop your link in there. That is okay. Yeah, my math is just not mathing today. But yeah, so my client is a guy, and I don't say that to be mean, but he is definitely a guy. And when it comes to like paint colors or anything else, as long as it looks pretty when it's done, he doesn't really care how it got there. That kind of thing. So when it came time to start picking things, math is an enemy sometimes, right? It sure is, Crystal. It sure is. I have mathed so hard on this quilt. I have done test runs on this quilt because I have had to math so hard on this quilt. So what I did is I went through his apartment or through his home. Quilt Squirrel has a channel. Awesome. Jody, thank you. I will have to come check it out. I did not know you had a channel. So awesome. Awesome news. So I went through his home with him and said, okay, here's the things that I see when I'm looking at your home. And, pointed out one picture and pointed out, some details that make sense to me. Just looking at the colors and such. And colors that are vibrant or rich or whatever. And I was like, okay, so now that you know what stands out to me, I need to know what stands out to you. What is it that when you are looking at your home that you really love? Like, what are these things that are important to you? Am I doing this right? No, I am not doing that right. Okay. I gotta press towards the brown on this, guys. Sorry. I was pressing towards the blue, gotta press towards the brown. So I walked him through his home, and he picked out a couple of different things that were important to him. He's got a painting on one wall that has a lot of sentimental value to him. That's the best way to put it. But he's got a couple paintings that mean a lot to him. Have you tried Becca's calculator to help with quilting? I have not. A lot of what Becca was calculating, I've already, like, that stuff I already know, or I already have other calculators I already use. I use the Robert Kaufman calculator for, like, my binding and my backing, because when I go to search, when I'm at a store, I go and say, you know, I need to go ahead and pick up my binding, and I don't have anything with me except, you know, knowing in my head what color binding I want, and I will punch in numbers, and then I kind of know what I need. But I can just Google quilting or binding calculator or backing calculator, and the Robert Kaufman ones pull up. All the rest of it I do otherwise. Like I know all the other math. This quilt has been challenging because if you follow EQ's instructions, because I did this pattern in Electric Quilt, if you follow EQ's instructions and cut everything exactly, then you should come out with the right answer. But for some reason, I struggle getting my pieces to come out the exact way that EQ puts them in. So when it's not a simple pattern that I can easily do, I go ahead and, you know, do my test blocks and all of that. Let's see. Joyce just subscribed to your channel, Jody. Jody says that her husband picked out 3 fabrics for his quilt. I love Scrappy. It was so hard to work on that quilt. Oh, I bet. Barbara already uses Becca's calculators often. Katie also just subscribed to Jody's channel. That is awesome. And I just found that my prong on my ring is hanging. I gotta figure out. Katie says that she subscribed as well. Check it out later. Awesome. Oh, you're fine, Jody. You are fine. You are allowed to figure it all out. We are here for everything, including the struggles. And if you run into any problems, let me know. I can help figure a lot of it out. I figured a lot of it out on my own. Alright, so this is how the sashing is going to look up against, or with the blue, is going to look up against the others. You guys, that blue just pops. Doesn't it? It just pops. Alright. Linda says that she just did 2 more months on her temperature quilt. Now she's only 1 month behind. Busy going through her fabrics and getting them in order. That's done also. I feel good now. Absolutely, Linda. That's a lot, because I saw your comment that you were 3 months behind earlier. That's insane. That's an insane amount to be behind. So I was sympathizing with you. I am still trying to get the 365 done before Christmas. So for those of you who do not know, I am issuing out a temperature quilt pattern in January. I have got to finish getting the pattern written. So that is what I am in the process of doing. So I'm working on it until Christmas because it should be done by Christmas. The top will be done by Christmas Day, is what my goal is. So I will be issuing out a pattern in January, preferably, hopefully by January 1st. And it is a double wedding ring temperature quilt. So if you guys have ever wanted to do a double wedding ring and you want to take it slow and easy, a temperature quilt is a great way to do it. And if you get behind or you are trying to rush like me, then that's a whole nother issue. Don't come to me for that one. I'm in that boat with you. Crystal says thinking of a good pattern for someone is a struggle for me. Oh yeah, it's a struggle for everybody. You are not alone. You are not alone. Guys' patterns are typically really hard. Cut and Chiseled is a really good pattern for a guy. And that's kind of why I went with the pattern that I did. Jody, you got me. You got me. Okay, she says, hate seeing myself on camera. I make weird faces. Okay, have you seen my face? You guys are looking at my face. I'm not looking at my face because of that. Oh yeah, Crystal, that's the other problem. Hope they like the colors I chose for them, right? That is always the challenge. I about had a panic attack. So I was working on, you guys know it as the super secret quilt. It was a quilt that I was making for my husband. There we go. Chloe says that she's making cut and chiseled for her dad, right? Brianne says that she's ripping. She got too anxious to quilt and didn't check her stitches when she first started. Got lots of eyelashing. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! At least you have time before Wednesday, right? Jody says you're wonderful. Oh, no. I'm just persistent. That's all it is persistence. Persistence pays off. Persistent and patient. I'm very patient. Rayanne can tell you I'm patient. Let's see, the same one Stephanie Harris is using. Paper piece, but I'm also going to add sashing and borders to make larger. Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about, Linda. Talking about which one Linda is using. Linda was telling Chloe that it's the same one Stephanie Harris of, Stephanie Stitches. Because she's issued out some patterns recently too. Kathy says, I never thought I would I thought I would never be able to do a video, but you get comfortable doing it. Yeah, you do. Now, I will say this. I am a lot more comfortable doing lives than I am doing recorded videos. You guys, I cannot tell you, even doing that, when I did that jelly roll one recently, you guys, oh my gosh, I was so nervous. And I don't know why. Like, it's not any different from doing a live, except that I'm not talking to people, in front of me. But, yeah. All right. So, let me get the corner, and we're going to stitch that in as well. So, I'm going to pull that off. Let me get the pin out of it. Here we go. All right. Curve piecing is not that bad. No, it is not. You're right. Susie is here. She says, hello. Welcome, welcome, Susie. Glad you made it tonight. Jody says, love watching your videos, Kathy. Right? Pam says, I've successfully avoided any curve piecing in my 40 years of piecing. Well, if you are willing to try curved piecing, I will be teaching you how to do it. I do not mind teaching it. It is not as bad as it seems, and I will be teaching that with my temperature quilt starting in January. So if you guys do want to learn how to curve piece, that is something that I will be teaching in January with that pattern. Andrea's here. She says, howdy, 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 everyone. Sorry I'm late. Just woke up from an unexpected nap. You must have needed it. That's okay. Helen is also here. She says, hello, all. Welcome in, Helen. I've never done curve piecing, but it is on my bucket list, says Kathy. Oh, absolutely. I can help with that. Let's see. Yeah, you guys, curve piecing is not as bad as it seems. I do say this coming from the garment sewing world. The biggest difference between curve piecing and the garment sewing world, because you do a lot of curved sewing in the garment sewing world, is that here in the quilting world, you want it to lay flat when you get done. In the garment sewing world, you want it to stay in a curve, usually. So, it's a little bit of an adjustment, but it is not bad at all. Jody says, I'd love to learn curve piecing. Absolutely, absolutely. Hello to everyone. I missed while cutting fabric, says Glenda. No worries, Glenda. I think everybody's good. We have all been chatting about all of this stuff. Hey, Susie, do you long arm? Ooh, good question. Good question. So I have a date to go long arm these, so I have got to get these done. I've done sleeves and garment sewing, says Kathy. Yeah, it's not bad. Now, with that being said, were they cap sleeves? Were they puff sleeves? Were they gathered? You know, what kind of sleeves did you do? Because there's a lot of different sleeve techniques out there. There's a lot of different techniques. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I'm making sure I didn't miss anybody. Just making sure. All right, so we have got those 3 or the 2. Susie says that she long arms for herself. That's exciting. I need a long arm that's on a frame. Joyce is asking if you long arm for others. She might be willing to pay you. Yeah, no. Random comment. Peanut gallery. Ignore me. Don't ignore me too much, but ignore me. Alright, I'm going to press this. I'm just going to press towards the sashing because it has fewer seams than my blocks do. And it's not going to matter because there's nothing else attaching to this except the outer border. And the outer border is going to take some testing. Jody says I have to use Elmer's glue when I do curves. If not, it doesn't turn out well. I can get you past that. I do not recommend using glue in your quilt because there are so many ways that can go sideways. And like even for English paper piecing, I don't recommend glue. Most of them are gathered, but I have done cap and ruffle. Okay, yeah. If you've done cap sleeves, then you are set for curve piecing and quilting. So yeah, you should be fine. Let's see. Can't say I miss garment sewing. Right. I don't exactly miss it either. All right. So this is a corner of the quilt, guys. Oh, there we go. Now it looks like a corner. Let me back up. Okay. So this corner will get trimmed. All of this will get trimmed and squared. And so now we are on to the next row. We get to add another row. Susie says I'm still getting to know my upgraded machine in the middle of the room. Oh, that's right, because you said you had a tarp over your long arm. I remember you saying that. Because y'all are remodeling the room right above your studio, your sewing room. I'm a little bit jealous, though. I do want a long arm on a frame with stitch regulator at a minimum. I would love to have digitized, but it is what it is. Kathy says she misses sewing on garments, but that is what I started on. Yes, I started on it too. Barbara says I mostly quilt, but every now and then I like to change things up. Okay, so I don't normally change things up. This is a hoodie that is hanging up back here, you guys. It is a hoodie. And I saw on Facebook all these ads for an infusion hoodie. And so I decided to add zippers into the bottom, or into the sleeve seam of a hoodie. So when I go to get my infusions, I can wear a hoodie and just unzip the sleeve. I'm cheating, I know, but I wasn't going to pay $80 for something I could make myself. Who else does that? Who else makes something yourself because not doing it yourself seems like it's too expensive? Kathy says, oh, so you were able to get it done. Yes, I was. She says, I love it. I wore it to my infusion on Thursday. And the lady said, oh, I haven't seen one of those before. I said, yeah. And she's like, oh, I've seen the ones that are like for ports. So the hoodies like unzip like right here or something like that, so that you can access the port without taking the whole hoodie off. But I don't have a port, so I don't need that. So mine is, on the sleeve. Susie says, mine is not digitalized, it's above my budget. I don't blame you. It's above my budget too. Doesn't mean I don't want it though. All right, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was what I did 2. So now I got to put 4 in. So I got 2 of those. And I need 2 more of the full blocks. And I need 2 of the half blocks. And this will be the next row. And that still doesn't get me all the way to the corner yet. Crystal says my battery's getting really low. Gotta run for now. I'll have to watch rest tomorrow. Have a great weekend, everyone, and I'll try to get on again. You are very welcome, Crystal. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me know you were here. I appreciate it. That's amazing. That's genius. Great idea. Thank you, right? I mean, it is what it is. Glenda said that the last thing she made was a scrappy jacket with a hood about 8 years ago. I really want, and I don't know why. I really don't know why. Joyce says, great idea, Tammy. I have a couple I might do that too, right? It's cold enough here to need it. Pam says, raise his hand. I bought a long arm because I can't give a pieced quilt to someone else. Right? And Kathy is going to bed. She needs to move laundry over and head to bed. Absolutely. Jody says, I poured on my chest and had to wear larger neck shirts. Yeah, I could totally see that being an issue for me. So yeah, I would probably do like a zipper in my shirt or something like that. And it would be like a shirt just for infusion days. So they would always see me in the same stinking shirt. Granted, I'd wash it, but you know, I'm not going to make 4 or 5 of them. I'm only going to make 1. So yeah, good night, Kathy. Absolutely. What was it? The scrappy hooded jacket. I am dying, literally dying, to make a quilted jacket or quilted hoodie or something like that. Like, I want a quilted coat, you guys. I am dying. I want to make one so bad. I don't have the time. I don't have the time at all. I've booked myself solid with everything. And I've kind of got a pattern picked out, even, I think. Don't quote me on that. I think I have a pattern. But, like, I so want to make a quilted jacket or hoodie or something. And line it with fleece. Oh my gosh, because that would be fantastic. And then if I made it long enough, so I wouldn't have, it would be windproof. Oh my gosh, it would be windproof. Which would be perfect for here, because we get very windy here. Glenda, you are cracking me up. She says, okay. Oh, Kathy, thank you. I forgot about my clothes in the dryer. Oh, that's hilarious. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. You really do rock my world. You keep me laughing. You keep me smiling. You keep me inspired. I know I try to keep you guys inspired, but you guys keep me inspired too. Oh my gosh. I really need to set up puppy cam. I've got to set up puppy cam so you guys can see this goober of mine. He is camped out underneath my long arm table. Hang on. I'm going to see if I can get a camera going. Give me just a second. Let me finish cutting that. Glenda says that she made hers out of scrap fleece and reversible. See, I totally need to do that, but I need to do it in a group where, you know, everybody else is doing the same thing. Susie says quilted jacket is on my bucket list, right? It needs to be. Linda says work comes early for me tomorrow, so I'll say good night to all. Absolutely, Linda. Thank you for being here for as long as you were. I appreciate it. All right, we are going to set up Puppy Cam 101, and you guys will get to see the goober that is hanging out underneath my long arm table if I can get this set up at the right angle. We are going to see if I can, because I can't. I just can't with this guy. All right, let's see. Do I have it with the other camera? I don't have it with the other camera, so this is just going to be a momentary lapse, you guys. Hang on, you guys get to see him. All right, so I apologize for the cord being in the way. That is the cord for my fan. Let me move the camera just a little bit. Camera is moving. Camera is moving. Please do not get sick, anyone. Camera is moving. Okay, puppy cam is now active. That is what I get to look over to. It's just... Oh. Okay, so my dog is officially on YouTube, you guys. This is what I look over to. He stretches his nose out, and then his paws are over. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. All right. Jody says, I think Edita has a jacket pattern you could use that uses quilt blocks and a sweatshirt. Ooh, that's awesome. What a sweet baby, right? So adorable. What a start, right? Sweet pepper. Yes. He absolutely is, you guys. Like, he needs to have his own YouTube channel, like, when I'm live. So you guys have, like, another, view to watch, that just has him going. I just totally need to do that. Like, I need to have that going. Sweet baby. He is so sweet. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And he's not snoring right now. He's awake. He's hanging out because Mom's in here. And I offered that he could go hang out with Dad, and he opted to just come hang out with me and listen to me all night. So even though, Dad's home and he would normally be out there with Dad, he opted that he wanted to stay in here with me. So, oh, now he's... All right, hang on. Hang on, you guys need to see this. Yeah. This is his next phase. Sir, what are you doing? What's up? He's ignoring me. Yep. There he goes. Okay, sorry. Had to do that. And now he's up. Where he's like, wait a minute, y'all were showing me on camera, Mom. I'm leaving. He wants to leave. Like that is what he has decided now that he's going to do now that I've talked about him. Okay. Alright, now the puppy cam is over. Alright, I've got one more of the half blocks to trim. And then we will have one more full block, and then we can assemble another row. So I will have quite a bit of sewing left to do, and this is even without having the border ready. The border is not ready. We may swap. I don't know if we're going to swap to doing the border or not. Susie says he is shy. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. If he knows that you have a camera on him and, like, he realizes it, he, like, walks away. Joy says my pup does that when she is pouting, right? He does it too. His big pout is, we play with him and then we're done playing with him, and he does a full-on complete sprawl across the floor with his toy between his front paws pout. He's a mess. He is an absolute mess. So, alright, so here's what the week has got for me. Tomorrow I've got an appointment that I've got to go to with my husband, and then I am cutting on Andrea's quilt. I don't know if Andrea, if you're still in the chat, I am cutting on your quilt tomorrow, regardless that I am not done with this. This is kind of my fault that I'm not done with this because I had a flub and wasted time and my body is not cooperating, so that's another aspect of it. Then, let's see, Tuesday. Let me look. Tuesday, I have an appointment. We are going to also open up signups for the retreat, the Zoom retreat at the end of the month. We are going to open that up on Tuesday night. So if you guys do miss Tuesday night, you'll have to go back and watch the replay to get the information on what you need in order to sign up. Then Wednesday, I am sewing all day. I will be out of the house sewing all day. I believe. No. I'm home all day Wednesday. Woohoo! I will be working on this and working on Andrea's. Probably working on Andrea's on Wednesday, mostly. Tuesday night, you guys will get to see a sneak peek of Andrea's quilt pattern that I am working on for her. So you guys will get to see some of that Tuesday night. I won't be able to share any measurements because it is a purchased pattern. So once it is available for purchase, you guys will have the instructions on how to assemble over here on my channel, but you guys will not have any measurements. You have to buy the pattern to have measurements. Clothes are still in dryer. No laundry fairy here. I kind of have a laundry fairy. He goes by Tom. My laundry fairy is my husband. He has been doing laundry because I have not been feeling great the last couple of days. Doing infusions takes a lot out of me. You know, it's not the end of the world or anything like that, but it is definitely exhausting to do infusions. And so he has picked up the slack on laundry, and he'll probably do laundry for another 2 days maybe, and then I'll be back at it. Pam says, oh darn it, I have a medical procedure Tuesday, so I may not make it to the live. That is okay. That is okay. You will be able to watch replay. So you'll be able to find out the information on replay. So just make a note to come watch replay for the Tuesday night live so you get the information you will need. You're fairly regular here, Pam, so you are safe. You are absolutely safe. It's mainly the newer subscribers who haven't been here or who haven't chatted a lot that'll need to do a little bit of extra just to make sure that I know that, you know, they're not just spamming the Zoom chat or the Zoom whatever, however, the Zoom retreat. Okay. I cannot word. Let's see. Just rub it in, lol. I'm sorry, Glenda. If it wasn't for my husband, there wouldn't be a laundry fairy here either. I'm normally the laundry fairy here. Laura says, Pam, I hope everything goes well with your procedure. I agree. I hope so as well. Speaking of Tuesday, I have to, at my appointment, I have to ask about the medications that were used in an injection I received to see whether or not they can do injections in my wrist, because if whatever medication they put in the injections that they did at this other appointment I reacted to, so I can't have it again. So I have to know what that was so I can tell them not to do it. Alright, did I put this in? I put this in the wrong way for that, so I've got to go this way. Okay. So we're doing 4 up, and then it goes that way. Okay. I put the block in wrong. Susie says, finally got my laundry in off the clothesline and put away. Wow, right? This is a pre-test for an upcoming bigger surgery. Ooh. That sounds a little ominous, Pam. We don't like the word bigger surgery, or the 2 words bigger surgery. Those are not fun words. Those are not fun words. Unless they're going to give you a better quality of life. If they're going to give you a better quality of life or give you an extra hand with the Christmas list, then we're good. They got to help with the Christmas list. That's what the bigger surgery is supposed to do. Help with the Christmas list. Let's see. Sending positive thoughts your way. Pam says, Jody, yep, right? Right. You guys are so awesome. Thank you. Thank you for putting all that in there for me, because I definitely cannot type right now. I have been in people's lives off and on over the last 2 days, and I've been saying, I'm just lurking. You guys have seen my just lurking. I am in there chatting way more than I intended to, and not getting stuff done because of it. I just need to not even be in the live, like not even like paying attention to the live, so I get stuff done. Now, being on Mona's live on Friday, that actually helped a little bit because I got quite a bit done, because I had the thing going on in the back of my head of, well, you're on a channel live, you need to be doing something. So it prevented me from just sitting and talking. However, I'm not doing so hot at that tonight. I'm talking and sewing and still not making a whole lot of progress. I'm making a little bit. It will get there. The part that I have not tested is the outside border. And that is what I am most worried about now. Granted, I've got to get the more fabric to finish these triangles off. I've got to know how much I've got to go get. So I'm still going to have to do some math as well tonight. But my main concern now is, is how I'm going to do that outside border, because I have not tested it yet. So I'm going to have to test it tonight so that when I go to the quilt store tomorrow, if I just broke thread. If I need to get more fabric, I can do that. All right, we're going to release tension on thread, put it back down, and I broke thread a while back. That's odd. I don't normally do that. We're going to see how this is done. Chloe says, I'm getting sewing done. Thanks for inspiring me, Tammy. You're welcome. Better somebody than nobody. Right now, I'm not getting much done at all. We're ripping a stitch. Laura says that she's crocheting tonight. Still don't have the energy for sewing. Oh, that's fine. You have been through a lot. She says, hopefully next week will be better, right? That is what we're going to always hope for. Glenda says that she used to hang laundry to dry until it got so allergies, love the smell of line dried, right? I can imagine how awful that would be to have the seasonal allergies or, allergies to pollen and things. And that's what your laundry comes in off the line with. That has got to be rough. Okay. For some reason, my machine did not reset like I expected. Okay. We are going to hope that Beauty is not going to be mad at me. I think Beauty's mad at me. I think that's what it is. That's what we're going to go with. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Beauty is mad at me. I have been putting her through her steps today, doing a lot of sewing. I think I've gone through 4 bobbins today. Something like that. I mean, I've done a lot the last day and a half, 2 days of sewing. I actually do hurt. This chair is amazing, but I actually hurt because I've sat in this chair too much. And it's rare. Chloe says, Laura, wishing the rest gives you the energy you need. Fingers crossed, right? Right? I think we are all hoping for that. Oh, we are all hoping for it. Okay, where's my snips? There they are. They're hidden. It could be the needle. Oh, it could be. It could be the needle. It could be the machine. It could be any number of things. I don't think it's going to discriminate. I think it's going to pick on me just because it wants to pick on me. 1, 2, 3. I still have one more full block to go. Whew, guys. Yeah, I think this may be my limit. I may be hitting my limit for the night. And I still have more stuff to do. I mean, I had an infusion Thursday, and Thursday was a bum day, so I couldn't do anything on Thursday. And so I'm trying to make up for it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And, oh, I'm going to pay for this. I'm so going to pay for it. Oh... We're going to hope that I pay for it, in 2 weeks. Let's see if I can get past 2 weeks at this pace. I don't think I can, but we're going to try it anyway. Why? Because I am permanently exhausted squirrel, and yeah, that's what we're going to try to do. Gloria says, thanks, Chloe, I'm keeping a positive attitude. That is exactly how you have to do it. I keep a positive attitude about what I'm doing, trying to hope and will myself to, making it through whatever I'm trying to push my body through. So yeah, that's the great way to do it. Did I get my car back? Yes, I did, Glenda. I was so excited too. I was so excited. Needle kept snapping my bobbin thread last night until I changed it. Yeah. This guy should still be fine. That might be why the thread snapped this time, but I have been using the thread cutter. And sometimes when I use the thread cutter on this machine, it likes to hang on to thread a little bit too much. So sometimes I run into problems because I've been using the thread cutter. And I haven't cleaned it out lately, so that's on me. So that's probably what it is. So as to the car, so I was like, I was messaging them about, is my car ready? You know, I'm really done waiting for my car. Is my car ready? Can I please pick up my car soon? And they finally messaged me that the car was ready. I was like, great, I will be there in 30 minutes. And no joke, I was probably there in 20. But I get there, and my car is sitting there waiting for me. Guys, whoever the mechanic was, you know, they apparently got in and out of my car during the rainstorm. So there was like a little bit of a mud track or gravel, dirty track in the driver's seat, getting out of the car where they like dragged their feet or something. You know, I didn't even care. I was just so happy that I got my car back and it was running beautifully. I was on cloud nine that I got that car back, and I parked it out, you know, where I've been parking it. And my husband parks in the garage, and I'm parking in the handicap spot. We both have handicap placards. There's not enough handicap spots for as many handicap people as are in the building, and as many handicap vehicles as there are. So, but the other vehicle, we have the garage, so we can store the vehicle and keep it out of the elements. So that vehicle is the more expensive vehicle. We keep it in as good a shape as we can and protect it from the elements as much as possible. We kind of have to protect the Gray Goddess. She's a little expensive. She's not top of the line, so don't be thinking that. It's not that. It is just, she was our only vehicle for 7 years. We've only had one vehicle for 7 years. And she is a 5-year-old vehicle and is still functioning beautifully. And she got us all the way from Alabama here. So we're taking care of her. You know, we're going to respect her. So the Gray Goddess goes in the garage. And so my husband has the Gray Goddess. I have my little Jeep treat. That's what I call her. My car is my little Jeep treat. Kind of fashioned after the Little Deuce Coupe song. You don't know what I got? The Beach Boys. Please tell me I'm not insane for naming my car that. But I'm just kind of excited that I have her. She gives me a lot of independence back. But yeah, so I had her parked in the handicap spot. And so like I'm super excited to have her back. And my husband walked by and he said something to me the other day. I was like, yeah, I was so excited to have her back. And he says, yeah, I know. I was like, I walked past the car and I was like, that looks so much better than that loaner you were driving. I was like, right? Yeah, Clay says, glad to hear you got your car back. Right? I am in love with my car. She's running beautifully. No engine codes, no funky stuff going on. Everything is working every time I get in the car. Like I'm not having to hope that something is working. Clay says, love the Beach Boys, right? I grew up listening to Beach Boys. That was one of the bands that like my mom loved, like absolutely loved. So that was in the car frequently when I was in grade school and teens. So I grew up with that song. And I was looking for a name for her. I didn't want to do something white. So I just went with little Deuce Coupe, but she's little Jeep Treat. All right. So this is next row. Ooh, this looks long. Oh, okay. I'm off by a row because I'm not off by a row. I've got the right number of things on here, but my board doesn't have the room because I have my table in the way. All right, there we go. Can you guys see this? Let's bring this over so you guys can see it. Let's see, where are we? There we go. All right. I'm gonna turn this guy off. How's this looking to you guys? You like it so far? You like what you're seeing? I think it's gonna turn out gorgeous. Paladin, stop please. He's starting to scratch, sorry. And let me do one other thing. It is stifling hot in here with this iron going. So we're going to turn the fan up. And I'm missing something important apparently. No, I am not. Okay, that can wait. Yay! Alright, so that's what I've got so far. Do I want to do this? Pam says looks great. Thank you, Pam. Okay, we are going to try this. We're going to see if I can do something with this. I don't know if I can, but we're going to try. Beautiful, love the colors, right? I did not pick the colors. These are actually all of my clients' colors. Okay, so I did forget to finish telling that story, you guys. So I went over, saw what he had, and I went to the hardware store. I went to Home Depot. It's beautiful, Tammy. I'm sure your customer will love. I think he will. I think it's going to look gorgeous, and you're going to be seeing this. And of course, I've got this sashing here, and there's going to be, you know, another row here. And that is not completely how tall it is. It is just a hair taller than that. Andrea says that it's turning out beautifully. Thank you, Andrea. Appreciate it. I am so far behind on it. So far behind. But yeah, I think it's going to come out beautifully. That's all, you know, looking like it's supposed to look. So that's the good thing. So the sashing for it, if you guys don't remember, is a, it's kind of hard to see on this camera. I'll bring you guys down in just a minute. It's a pointed out sashing. So the dark blue and brown that are here are going to be making that sashing. So the dark blue is going to be on the outside of the quilt, and then the brown is going to be the brown is going to be pointing out, the dark blue is going to be pointing in. It's looking very beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Joyce says looks great. Thank you. Susie said love the colors. Looks great. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, you guys. All right, so this is test block. This is, you know, this is one of the ones that I tested out. So, in order to test out the sashing, I do not have enough of this fabric left over, and the sashing pieces, according to EQ, if I follow EQ's instructions, which is what I'm going to try first, 22 3/8 inch long pieces by 3.5 inches tall, which is incredibly insane. Like, it's absolutely insane to try to cut this. So I don't know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try using these two colors. Judy says, off to bed, can't keep my eyes open. I don't blame you. You are fine, Judy. Absolutely. Thank you for being here for as long as you were. Appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already on the way out. Alright, so let's see. I do have enough of both this blue and this pink. We are going to see if we can figure out how to make this. Because the way that this sashing is done, let me bring you guys over to this other camera and I'll show you up close. Let's see. There we go. Alright. Nope, wrong one. Alright, here's the right one. Alright, so the way that the sashing is done on here, this border, is you've got a triangle piece on the outside and a triangle piece on the inside. And then just at the corners is where you have half pieces. But to me, and this could be just me, it looks like the side ones are different sizes than the ones down the long sides. And I don't know if that's true or not. I have no idea if that's true or not. But I don't know how hard this is going to be to assemble these triangles. So we are going to see if I can cut these triangles to begin with. And if I can, then we're going to see if there is a way for me to properly assemble these triangles. So that is what we're going to test out tonight to see if I have this down correctly. And we will go from there. Now, I am not worried about pre-pressing. Actually, I will pre-press this fabric just a little bit. Just to get some of the wrinkles out. It has been on this bolt for I don't know how long. Less than a year. So it hasn't been on this bolt very long, but I don't know how long I've had these fabrics. So I'm just getting out some of the extra wrinkles. And we're going to cut, I don't know, because you don't typically get two 23-inch pieces out of a slice of fabric. So I don't think I'll get that out of either of these. Let's do some math for just a second. I really should have started the night with this. Do brain power stuff first, right? Start with the brain power and then go to the non-brain power stuff. Alright, there's 10. There's 10. Alright, so we got 11. No, this is like 44, so there's no way I'm getting a 22-inch cut twice out of this. And that's a lot of waste. So what I will do is we are going to go for the 22 3/8. I'm going to go ahead and cut it half a 23. Paper piece them maybe. They do look like they're different sizes. Yeah, I wouldn't know how to start paper piecing this. It's insanely long. The long side is 156 inches. And then the short side is, did they tell me? 44.18 inches. Actually 158 3/4 by 44 1/8 is basically what we're looking at for the size of this quilt. And it gives me the angle, so it's a 17-degree angle for the cut. But the point is going to be in the center of the triangle either way. So that part is easy. 23 divided by 2 is 1 1/2. 11 1/2 times 2. Alright, math people. 11 1/2 times 2. Let me do this. Joyce says I'm also having trouble keeping my eyes open. Good night, everyone. Absolutely, Glenda. Joyce, thank you. I promise I'm not calling people by wrong names. I'm sorry. Not intentional. Alright, so 23 divided by 2 is 11 1/2. Alright. I do not have 23 on this mat. So we are going to go by the sizes that I do have on this mat. So that's what I was trying to figure out, where we would hit the mark on this. Let me unroll some extra fabric, set that down. This is a Cranston Printworks fabric, you guys. And there's not even a year on this. That's how old this is. So yeah, it's old. Alright, so there's my 11 1/2. I am folding this fabric in half and getting the 11 1/2 measurement, and then I will come back and trim the individual piece down to what I need to do. Susie says, good night, Joyce. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it is that kind of night tonight. I am almost there myself. This is not going to be a late night after my live is done. Just saying. Just saying. Alright. So this is how I do this, you guys. So 11 and a half. So I've got it on that mark. That would be 10 if it was on that mark. So that's 11. That's my half. Okay. So yeah, I do this regularly. RI made. Rhode Island made. Okay. I'm a little confused. It's definitely late where you are. It's 11:30. It's 11:30 in Rhode Island right now, you guys. Yeah. At 11:30 I would be in bed already. At 11:30 tonight I will be in bed. I can assure you. Alright, this is going to fall off my mat, but that's okay. And I have plenty of scrap off of this too, but that's okay. This is scrap fabric that I do not have that much love for. So if I waste a little bit, it will go into my scrap for my 1-inch squares, or it'll go into one of my other random projects. So do not panic about me having a lot of waste on this. It is not something I am concerned with. And you know what? For simplicity's sake, I'm not even going to cut the other fabric. I'm just going to cut this one fabric. Rhode Island made Cranston Printworks. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it just says 100% cotton and printed in the USA. So it doesn't say it, but oh my gosh, that's awesome. Has it always been made in Rhode Island? That's cool info. And you know what? I am going to go ahead and cut this other one. I want the contrast. And if I'm going to put forth the work, I might as well do the work. Might as well do it the right way. So we are going to go ahead and measure the 11 and a half, folded in half, off of this blue. This blue does not have anything on the selvage, I don't think. No, it was printed so far off the selvage that it's not available. And I don't have a lot of it, so it will be what I have available and nothing extra. I do have enough to cut this, so that's not a problem. I just have to make sure I've got enough hanging over. Here we go. Chloe says, I need to go to bed soon. 5 a.m. is around the corner. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You have a good night, Chloe. Absolutely. Absolutely. Alright, we are going to move this down a hair, because that last one was a little hard to cut, because it was hanging off the mat a little too far. So we are going to go in by 1 mark as well. So instead of the 11 there, oh, I still don't have enough. Hang on. Quilting treasures as well. Okay. Well, learning something new. 2 fabric companies that I did not know were printed in Rhode Island Laura says, Chloe, I'm up at 5 every morning, but usually in bed by 10. I'm definitely not a night owl. No, neither am I. Neither am I. You have the advantage, Laura, that you are also, it should be 9:30 where you're at as well. So that helps you out for my channel. I think it's 9:30 where you're at. Am I wrong? Did I get it right? Are you on my time right now? Or is that when winter comes that you're on my time? Since you don't adjust and I do. My time zone adjusts. I don't like it. I've always had a time zone that adjusts, but I don't like it. Oh, I actually moved this up a 1/2 inch. Okay. Alright. So I get to move it there. And we are using the fabric. Alright, that's as straight as it's going to get. Alright. Now, when I say do as I say, not as I do, please pay attention to that, because I am sometimes a little on the please don't watch me as I do this scale. I hit that frequently. In the winter, I'll be on your time. It's 8:30. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not late there yet. You have got it made in the shade tonight. Yeah, it's... Let's see. Andrea says, since I fell asleep toward the end of Tiffany's live and woke up an hour ago, I'm good to go for a while. Can you pipe some of that to me, Andrea? I need it. I definitely need it tonight. I'm not going to have this finished tonight like I'd planned. But I'm still cutting on yours tomorrow because that is a promise that I made. So, yeah. I am burning the candle at both ends. There's a little meme out there, and it was how it suggested it be done, and it's picture of a candle with one end lit, like one end is burning. Then there's one that says what the doctor advised against, and it's a candle with 2 wicks on either end, and both ends are burning. And then there's current situation. And current situation is, oh my gosh, like 15 fires all over the candle. Like the candle is being burned everywhere. That is my current situation. It is not wrong. That meme was not wrong. All right. So we are going to cut 2 so that I have enough to test. We are going to cut 2 of the 3.5 inch strips off of this. And I'm using the fold as my straight edge. Take care of your client first if you need to. Mine can wait until you're finished. Yeah. But. I made promises. Don't tell me that. I made promises. I am going to have to go to the store anyway. I had a flub. I don't know if you caught that earlier. I had a flub in my cutting, so it was my fault. But I need to know if I can get this correct, because if I can get this correct, then I can go ahead and cut the fabric tonight and make sure I have enough of that so I don't have to buy extra of that as well while I'm at it. So my brown and dark blue, I need to make sure I have enough of them. So I know the sashing works, I know the cornerstone squares work. So now I need to make sure that my borders are figured out and work. Oh, I will say I am not in love with cutting a 3.5 inch strip from a 3.5 inch ruler. It's not something I would recommend because you have no line to line everything up with. You're just lining up with the edge of your ruler, and it's kind of sketchy. Just gonna say. Let's see. I'm assuming she did, Glenda. It was on the long arm when I fell asleep. Oh, the table runner. Yeah, she was quilting it. I don't know if she finished it because if we're talking about Tiffany getting it quilted, yeah, I was on her live too. I wasn't like paying a lot of attention, and I actually stepped out before she got it loaded on the long arm. So like I didn't see if she was loading it or any of that. I came back and she was quilting it. And she was saying that it was probably only going to take her 15 minutes to get it quilted. And she was knocking it out like gangbusters. Oh, Pam says she did finish it. Yes, okay. I'm not surprised. Tiffany usually does finish projects like that are really small. She finishes those like nothing. I wish I had Tiffany's speed. There are days that I really would love to have it. I just don't have that speed. Alright, so I got 2 rectangles cut. They're 3.5 by 23. So I'm going to be cutting them down here in a minute. So now I need to cut my Cranston Printworks pink down as well to some 3.5 inch strips. Echo Paisley's beautiful. Yes, they were gorgeous. I mean, I saw while she was quilting it, and it was gorgeous. I do not have the free motion skills to pull that off. Just saying. I don't have it. Don't have it, don't have it, don't have it. I would love to have it, but I don't. Alright, this one's a little bit more rough cut. Glenda says she was still quilting when I left. Yeah, she was still quilting when I left too. I was leaving to come over here and get my live started for the night. Everybody was running on top of each other tonight. I was over... Who was I with? I was with Teresa Louise. She is finally back. She has been out of internet service. She was out with her husband, and she was fine. Everything was okay. Because a lot of people were worried about her, and were asking, you know, have you heard from her and all that? But I had not. But she is okay. She's doing fine. But she is back, and so I caught some of her live, and Kimberly at Pajama Quilter came on. I went over and caught some of her live. She had Nancy with, what is Nancy's channel? Little Beautiful, I can't remember Nancy's channel. I'd have to go back to Kimberly's live and go catch Nancy's name off of the channel. So I couldn't tell you. I can't tell you her channel name. And then Tiffany came on, so I jumped over to Tiffany, and then I had to leave Tiffany's to come over here to jump on mine. Like this morning there was nothing going on, and then this evening is like everybody was on. So, you know, Teresa coming back after being gone for over a month kind of threw a wrench in, like, keeping track of who's on when. It's like who's on first, but the quilting version. The quilting YouTube version. Something like that. Alright, so I'm going to mark these down more efficiently to the 23 inches. So that way I can trim them down appropriately. So now that they're pressed and trimmed up, I can you know, get them trimmed more accurately. Alright, so that's 23. And let's do this one at 23. And I'm not going to worry about doing the others because I'm going to wait until I do these and see how they come out. We're just going to run one test. We're not going to run 13 or 14 tests tonight. I do not have the energy to run more than maybe 2 tests. So, and I think I've only got the time to run one. So, it is what it is. Alright, so trim that. Alright, so if you guys have ever wondered how I work in a small space like this is how I do it. Fabric gets folded. I make sure everything is pressed. I make sure everything is as flat as it can possibly be. So, yeah. So these are 23. They're not trimmed down to the 22 3/8 yet. So, let's see. We are going to take 3/8 off of, or no, we're going to take 5/8 off of one side. So that's 3/4, which is not what I need. Guys, I struggle with these rulers sometimes. I do not like these creative grids because they don't have all of the markings that I am used to having. Like, I do not have, without going to the end of the ruler, I don't have all the markings I need to do a 3/8 inch marking. So, I have to go to the end of the ruler to have the 3/8 inch markings that I need, or the 1/8 inch markings that I need to be able to do this trim. Alright, so that's 5/8 off of that one. And we're going to trim 5/8 inch off of this one as well. Chloe says good night. Oh, good night, Chloe. Have a sweet dream, sweetie. Have a good day tomorrow. All of the kind of stuff. All the good bedtime wishes. All the good bedtime wishes. That is what we are about tonight, is the bedtime wishes. The good ones. All the good ones. Only the good ones. Something along those lines. Alright, so we've trimmed off 5/8 on both of those. So now these should be the right length. So what that means is I'm now going to press these in half. And I'm going to find the direct center of these rectangles. So remember that we're looking for really, really long triangles that they're going to have a point in the center. Like they're not going to be wonky or anything like that. They're going to have their point in the center. So when you fold them in half, this is folded in half, so this is right side and right side. Okay, I'm actually going to stack these on top of each other because they're going to be exactly the same cut. These are exactly the same size according to EQ. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to give these a cut long ways from the fold where it's going to be the widest down to the point that is going to be the most narrow. So I'm going to leave my point up there. I want to make sure I have my point up there. So this is my waist, a very big chunk. Andrea says, have a good sleep, Chloe. Absolutely, right? All right. So we're going to see moment of truth. Moment of truth. Let me take that off so I can see more of what you guys are seeing. And, all right. So moment of truth, that is one of the triangles for this border. Okay? And here is the other one. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can assemble these together. And then we're going to see. This may still not give me the information that I need. I may have to do a whole bunch more, and I really don't want to. I really don't want to. What I may do is I may reverse engineer and do these as long rectangle, like half square triangles, but half square rectangles. And do it that way. That may be my reverse engineering. What do you guys think of that idea? Reverse engineer it, and instead of doing these long pointy triangles that are hard as heck to assemble, or do rectangles that, you know, I can kind of predict a little bit better. I think that may be what I do. I think my client will be happy either way. Helen is also headed to bed. Good night, all. She says good night, Helen. Thank you for hanging out. Alright, this is going to stretch no matter what I do, but I am going to try pressing the seam open. So we're going to see how this goes. Okay. There we go. So that is how that is looking. So Now I think the test is this at the 3.5 inches? And no, it is not. It is now down to 3.25. Which I don't think is the right size. So, Susie says, falling asleep, so good night. Absolutely. Pam says, your pattern, you will rock it however you do it. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do is, instead of trying to do these really long triangles that are really unseemly, ungainly to try to do, I think that's what I'm going to do is it's going to be a half square rectangle like this. That way I can control the size. So that's what they're going to end up being. And I can do a little bit of math in the morning, figure out what I need, and go get it from there. So I think I'm with all of you who are falling asleep. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Andrea, I still will be cutting on yours. I don't know exactly how much time tomorrow, but I will be cutting on yours. And I will get to a point where I can assemble something tomorrow, not Tuesday night. So I will be doing some assembly Tuesday night. Andrew says that is what I do too, right? Pam says remember to add your seam allowances. I know, right? I think this was supposed to be 3.5 inch wide sashing, and I'm going to pull up EQ here in a minute and make sure that that's what it was supposed to be, because this is not coming out 3.5 inches wide, and that's not acceptable, because I think as a matter of fact, I know it's supposed to be, because my corner squares are supposed to be 3.5 inches. So I need accurate measurements, and that is not it. And I've had this problem with EQ repeatedly, where even if I cut everything exactly the way that they said, with all the odd measurements, it still doesn't come out right. And I have not figured out how come the EQ software has not gotten it right. I don't know what EQ is doing as to why I can't get these really wonky long diamond pieces or points to come out right, but I have to do math every time I do them. So I fully expected I was going to have to do that. But at least I know that this is working. So, this working gives me a lot of relief. So I just need to figure out how much I need on that fabric. And then the rest of this I can figure out in the morning when I am a little bit more fresh in my head. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you hanging out with me. If you haven't hit that like button, definitely hit that on your way out tonight. Don't leave me hanging. Don't leave YouTube hanging. Let YouTube know that you were happy to be here. Or if you're not happy, just go ahead and hit that thumbs down. You're not going to offend me by doing that. But I will be live Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And you guys will be getting to see some of the pattern that I am doing from Andrea. I don't know how much of it I will have cut, but I will have some of it cut and get started on it this upcoming week. So you guys have a good night. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out on